So part of it, you have to think linear versus non-linear, right? The Industrial Revolution was a linear process, right? We just kind of incrementally got better and better and better and better and better. Now we're doing it, God bless you, we're doing it exponentially. And networks work on power curves. You guys know power curves? How they work, right? Somewhat, yeah. Basically the idea of like a power curve is like once it starts getting momentum, it can't be stopped. It's like with Facebook. You can't compete with Facebook. It's a power curve. It just, the more people that get on it creates an opportunity for more people to get on it. And it's exponential. And so one thing Fuller saw is that connectivity puts, he used the word Earthians, and I adopted it for this. Earthians closer together than any time in history, and our synergy is heading to the next power exponentially. So in this landscape we're looking at, as we're continuing to converge, we're moving at an exponential rate. So that's why sometimes here today, gone tomorrow, the opportunities now are coming faster and faster and faster. The windows are closing faster and faster and faster. So if you took this piece of paper and you folded it on itself 50 times, how thick do you think it would be?
I don't think you can do it 50 times.
Okay, you can't. But if you could, hypothetically, then
To the moon.
you're to, all right, we got to the moon. What do you think?
I have no idea.
50 times. Just fold it on itself 50 times. It's not very thick, right? It's not very. We got one person to the moon. Anyone else? Any other guesses?
To the moon and back?
To the moon and back. Okay. Anyone else? To the moon. Have you been to the moon?
Yeah, name's Buzz.
What's that?
Name's Buzz.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay, you actually win. You're the closest. It's actually to the sun. If you fold this 50 times, I have the map. If you give me your email, I'll send you the data. I actually have the data. It'll actually go to the sun, right? Who was thinking like you did really good? No one's ever gotten that. You guys did really well. No one's really ever gotten that. You're like 1/4 inch, 3 feet.
I figured it wasn't Boston. I figured it was late.
You guys, so give these guys a hand. These guys did really well. I'm serious. Most like you get a 1/2 inch, you get 3 feet. You guys were like, boom, I'm off the planet. But it's to the sun, and that's the thing with exponential. It's like we're not really there yet in terms of our thinking, right? I didn't think of it when I first started. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't thinking of the sun. So in recognizing these landscapes, you got to understand like it's in an exponential world we're in. It's hard to get your mind around. So real quick, you guys know Deming, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not going to go too far into Deming, but one thing I always like to just cover Deming because his big takeaway is prediction, right? Prediction equals knowledge, reduced variation. 85% of all failures are in the first 15%. And the one I love the most is 94% of all breakdowns are in the process, not the people. But the real key here is the theory versus experience. And so that's the bit I want to just hone in on. So when you're looking at these patterns, or you're looking at disruptive behaviors, you're like, what's the theory behind there? Forget what your experience, I mean, don't forget your experience, but put your experience aside for a second. And go back to the context. What theory are these guys operating under? What theory was Amazon operating under when they started? They started with books. That was their content. But what was their context? Right? It was pretty big, wasn't it? It was massive. And so they had the theory. I don't think the guy ever sold books before. It wasn't his experience didn't matter because his theory trumped it. And then when you add theory plus experience, you get profound results. So that's another. I'm just trying to get some points to help just round out this conversation. And then we get into some dynamic value, right? You guys know that term, dynamic value? All right, so what's the price trap? Anyone? The price trap. We've all been there.
Medium price.
What's that?
The medium price?
It's the median price. Anyone else? The price trap. What is the price trap?
Maybe buying the latest computer and then 30 days later it's less with more power.
Okay. All right. The price trap. Not quite it for this discussion. Do you have anything you want to add? Price trap?
No.
Okay. So we remember, we'll just go back to our context. In a connected world, right? Converging world, we all have access to information. And so when we have access to, so we have abundant information, products and services get commoditized. So what's the, so how do you, yeah, it's like, less, yeah, exactly. So how do you, go ahead.
What do you say?
He said less arbitrage. You want to
You
explain what you
can't
meant?
sell it next door for twice the price if I know what that price is.
Okay.
You can't cheat.
You need differentials. It's the price trap. We're all like an information based. Like if you buy a car, if you want to research a car, how much information can you get on buying a car right now? All you want. It's almost like you're like put your email in, it's like boom, and like 50 car dealerships are like attacking you. You're like, hold on, right? So what's the difference, right? When all that happens, you're looking at price, right? So dynamic value, how to avoid it is you need to create dynamic value. We call it DIVAL. And it's creating the experience of it. So you guys ever like take your family to say like a museum or an adventure park or any fun place, right? You guys have ever been to a fun place?
Sure.
Recently, right? You've been to a fun place? I've been to a fun place. And so when you get your ticket and you walk in, what do? Usually. What do they want to do?
Picture.
Take your picture, right?
Like
What?
they do. and
They
then
take
on
your
way-
picture. You don't have a
then on your
choice.
way out, they're trying to sell it to you.
Right. How many people have bought that picture?
Once in a while.
That's it? All right, come on, let me see the hands. I want to see the hands. If you bought a picture at the fun house, right? At the park or something, right? Because they're selling the experience. It's the experience that you want. You can never live that moment ever again. And you're willing to pay a lot of money, $25, $20, $30. You get the little keychain thing. Like, what am I going to do with that? I don't know. I got it now. It's in your drawer. Every once in a while you look at it and say, hey, that was a fun time. So it's operating at the level of experience.